Hey everybody, Donnie Eisenhower here, and welcome back. If you're working through your North Carolina post-license requirements, you're in the right place. Today we're covering Post 301 Section 2, working with residential and commercial sellers. This section contains several topics that will regularly appear on quizzes and the final exam, so pay close attention. Also, don't forget to download the free video worksheet from the description below so you can follow along and study and reinforce the material that we go through. And if this video helped you complete your post-license education and become a better broker, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future lessons. Let's jump in. Soliciting listings. One of the first topics in Section 2 involves soliciting listings. Remember, this is an important rule. Never interfere with anyone broker's listing agreement. If the property is already listed with another firm, you may discuss a future listing that begins after the current agreement expires, but you should never encourage the seller to terminate their existing agreement early. This could expose you to civil liability and violate Realtor Code of Ethics Article 16. Now, if the seller contacts you first, you may discuss a future listing after the expiration, but you should not suggest cancellation during the current listing period. Do not call rules. This is one of favorite exam topic here. The Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, manages the National Do Not Call Registry. Brokers should check the registry every 31 days and maintain an internal company policy that do not call list. Generally, you cannot cold call numbers on the registry. You cannot call expired listings that are on the registry, and you cannot call FSBOs for sale by owners simply to solicit the listing. Now, there are 4 exceptions here. Existing business relationship, you may contact the consumer for up to 18 months after a transaction. You can also contact a consumer inquiry. A consumer inquiry creates a 3-month window for you to follow up with them. A personal relationship, that could be a family and or a friend, they are exempt. Express permission. If the consumer gives you permission, then you are allowed to contact. Now understand about FSBOs. FSBOs owners on the registry may be contacted on the behalf of a buyer client who are interested in the property, but not for solicitation purposes. Violations can be expensive, so understand and know these rules. Now, what to do preparing for a listing appointment. Before you meet with the seller, be prepared and bring a listing agreement, the Working with Real Estate Agents disclosure, question and answer brochure about agency, residential property disclosure statement, the mineral, oil, and gas rights, or we call it the MOG, lead-based paint disclosures if the home was built prior to 1978, a property information sheet, and a sample sales contract for them to review. Now, you will also want to ask the seller to gather their deed, a survey if they have it, restrictive covenants, HOA management information, and then also have them ready to know what their mortgage payoff information will be. Be prepared creates confidence and professionalism for you and then also for that seller. Agency discussion. After the listing appointment, you want to explain the agency relationship, your company policies, your compensation, your fiduciary duties, and your obligation to disclose material facts. And one important concept from Section 1 that carries over here, even though you represent the seller, you still owe honesty and disclosure to everyone involved in that transaction. Remember, let's do a refresher on material facts. Material facts always must be disclosed. We talked about the 4 categories in Chapter 1. That's facts about the properties. That includes foundation problems, roof leaks, structural leases, facts directly related to the property. That could be easements and zoning issues, facts that are affecting the property's ability to complete the transaction, such as financing problems or inability to obtain a loan, and then facts known to be important to a party. If you know something that matters to a buyer, it becomes a material fact. Now, North Carolina specific material facts, these are frequently tested. EIFS or synthetic stucco, even if replaced. Polybutylene piping is a material fact. Current or former meth house is a material fact. And mineral right issues are material fact. And remember, in North Carolina, they say that death on the property, HIV or AIDS, haunted houses, or sex offenders living nearby are not material facts. Now, lead-based paint, we want to make sure that we have that disclosure for properties that are built for homes built prior to 1978. The seller must provide the disclosure, provide any known information if they have it, and give buyers an opportunity to inspect. Now remember, lead-based paint disclosure, that is a federal law. Now during this appointment, you'll also talk about pricing the property. One of the biggest responsibilities of a listing broker is to advise sellers on price. The best recommendation is generally price the home near the top end of the probable sale range, not excessively over the market value. Overpricing often causes homes to sit longer, and eventually they could sell for less. So provide a competent advice based upon your CMA in the current market conditions. Now with your listing agreements, they must be in writing. Have a beginning and an end date. It's got to include your broker's license number. You also want to talk about the compensation and then identify the parties who are involved in that listing agreement. Now remember, you cannot leave important blanks and then fill them in later. You need to do it there with them. And no provision in the listing agreement can waiver your statutory duties to the client. You still owe all fiduciary responsibilities. Now, there may be a time where you will work with an unrepresented buyer. Sometimes you encounter that. And so remember, you still represent the seller. Do not advise the buyer on what price to offer or negotiate against your seller's interest. Provide factual information, but maintain your loyalty to your client. Dual agency. Dual agency requires informed written consent from both parties. A designated dual agency does not happen automatically. A broker who is personally listing his property, remember, he cannot be designated to represent the buyer in the same transaction. And always remember, dual agency limits when you can disclose what you can disclose, because who you owe fiduciary duties to, confidentiality to, you can't do it to both parties. Quick exam review. Remember these key points. Never interfere with another broker's listing. Check the do not call registry every 31 days. Existing business relationship exemption for 18 months. The consumer inquiry exemption is for 3 months. Bring all required documents to the listing appointment. Material facts must always be disclosed. Death, haunted houses, sex offenders are not material facts. Lead-based paint disclosure applies to all homes built before 1978. And listing agreements require a beginning and end date. You cannot waive your fiduciary duties, and dual agency requires written consent from all parties. Great job! You're making progress to completing Post 301 and becoming a stronger North Carolina broker. Be sure to download the worksheet in the description below and use it while reviewing this lesson. If this video has helped you, leave a comment below and let me know how you're progressing on Post 301. And if you find these videos helpful, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the 301 series. Thank you for watching, and remember, as always, I am here to help you from licensing to close.